A very good morning to all my dear students of class 9. This is the second class on the chapter A Truly Beautiful Mind, which is a biography, which is a short biography of the great scientist Albert Einstein. This is from your textbook of English class 9 by NCERT, Beehive. Okay. Yesterday, I have taught you the first two pages according to your NCERT book, page number 46 and 7. Today, I will start from page number 48. And in yesterday's class, we have learned about Einstein's childhood, uh, how he used to play with mechanical toys, his interest in mechanical things rather than playing with children of his age, how he was left alone by his fellow friends of his age. They used to call him brother boring, and but we also get to know about his interest in mathematics and physics, and the early ages of his education, early times of his education. And here we will get to know about the matured age of about his matured age when he would continue his studies in Zurich, Switzerland, where he used to work as a teaching assistant, and how he had friendship with a lady whose name is Mileva Maric, and how their affinity for scientific affinity means likings, okay, how their affinity for scientific experiments about new things brought them together, and all these things. So just follow the text. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Mileva Maric, whom he found to be a clever creature. The young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. So, students, we have to keep in mind Einstein was born in 1879, 14th March. That means Einstein was born in Germany in that time when the world had not witnessed the two world wars. Okay, so and that at that period of time, education for women was not that much of common. So Mileva Maric was a Serb means was a Serbian girl who used to live in Serbia. It's a country in Europe, and she came to Zurich in order to continue her studies, which was not studies for women. Scientific studies and other university education for women were not allowed in other part of the world. So she also came to Zurich in order to continue her studies. Einstein saw in her an ally against Philistines. Ally means friendship. And Philistines is a word which is disapprovingly used to talk about people who dislike any form of art and literature. So they grew their likings for each other because both of them had an ally. Both of them became friend because they disapproved of the Philistines. That means people who disliked any form of art, literature, etc. Those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. So Einstein was constantly at odds. That means constantly he was opposing those people at university who used to dislike any form of art. If you read the history of Europe, if any one of you in future decide anybody, if you decide to study English literature, then you will get to know about the history of literature, where you will get to know there were times in the history of England where the people were not allowed to nurture in themselves any form of art, whether it is music, drama, literature, nothing was allowed. So Einstein was in constant opposition to this, and he and Mileva Maric grew their friendship, their growing friendship was just based on this, that they disliked the Philistines. Those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. The couple fell in love, later survive in which they put their affection into words. So, both of them fell in love while they were studying at the University of Zurich, and their letters survive. That means the students or young generation of this age hardly think about writing letter to somebody, but writing letter is another form of art. So Einstein's letter to Mileva and Mileva's letters to Einstein are still survive, are still there. Okay, so where they conveyed their feelings for each other. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words. So both of them have penned down their emotions for each other. Okay. Mixing science with tenderness. Wonderful. So their emotions, both of them as a student of science, and both of them were interested in scientific experiments. So their letters showed their mixing of science with tenderness. Their affection, their love for each other was expressed with their expressed by mixing science with tenderness. Okay. Wrote Einstein, how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. So definitely Einstein was one of the greatest person in the field of science ever in the history of this world. So Einstein wrote to Mileva that how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. Work on relativity. You, all of you, mostly you people are very much interested in science, and some will pursue science for future studies also. In 9 and 10 also you will get to know about the theorems of relativity and all in physics. So they, both of them, at that point of time when they had been students at the University of Zurich, they hoped, dreamt of discovering their work and their publishing their work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. That means both of them were practicing science, and they were thinking of making their thought and experiment for the good of human being, and they were very much positive about publishing those things. Okay. So, in 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So, he completed his studies in 1900, and at the age of 21, Einstein, he was a university graduate and unemployed. So he used to give teaching. He became a teaching assistant and gave private lessons to students, interested students. And he finally got a job in the year 1902 as a technical expert in a patent office in Bern. Now, students, you must know what is patent office. You know, because at this time of COVID-19, so you people are always watching this word, like patent is something, if somebody is inventing something or somebody is trying to invent something, the work is in progress, whoever discovers whoever discovers it first gets the patent of it. That means the original person, the person who discovers a particular thing at first, if it comes for COVID-19, whichever country will be able to discover the vaccination for COVID-19 will get the patent for it. Okay, will get the patent for it. Like we all know the medicine hydroxychloroquine, which America is asking for from India. So India is having its patent because it is invented in India only. Okay. In 1900, a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So, as a young scientist, as a young science graduate, he used to get all the sorts of experiments coming to his office, where he could see all these things, and he could nurture his desire and intention of inventing something very much fruitful in future. And that is the place where he got ample of scope to nurture and focus on his scientific experiments as a technical assistant. While he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. So he was seeing others' inventions, and he was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theatrical Physics. So, people, the young scientists from all over the country, used to come and submit their paperwork on their inventions. And as a technical assistant, Einstein used to get all these things and keep them in the drawers. And he used to call it a Bureau of Theatrical Practices. Okay. So this is the place which always helped him to be very much close to scientific experiment. Okay. One of the famous papers in 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity. Einstein's special theory of relativity. Now, students, since all of you are studying science, you better know what is the theory of relativity, or if you are not yet taught in physics what is theory of relativity, in the coming years you will get to know about theory of relativity. As a teacher of English literature, I am not going deep into this scientific explanation that what is theory of relativity, because I know my students are very much aware of these things. So all of you know better than me, at least, because I studied when I was at your age. So all of you know this, and those, if you are not taught yet, so you will get to know about them in future. According to which time and distance are not absolute. According to the theory of relativity, time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey. So, how will we get to know that two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey, if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other? From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E is equal to mc square. Okay. In this mathematical equation, E stands for energy, m stands for mass, and c for the speed of light in a vacuum. Okay. So this is what you all know, or you will know in future. So the E is equal to mc square, the basic thing on which the scientific studies are developed, are being developed by different scientists throughout the ages for past 100 years or 150 years, is invented by none other than Einstein. So up to this I will explain today. Tomorrow, a little part of it is left, 1 page and something. Today also, while explaining, I only got the chance of teaching you 1 page only. So page number 48 is taught. Tomorrow, I will be completing the explanation, and day after tomorrow, I will give you questions. Okay. And on Friday, we will do something from section B. So bye students for today. Have a good day.